Welcome back to our channel. And we've kind of changed our channel dynamic and like our channel name and aesthetic and everything.
Yes.
So hopefully it's better. Hopefully you guys.
I mean, I don't know what in God's name you could do to go be worse than Razzmatazz, but I mean, actually, needless to say, I think Razzmatazz was quite the pro channel. Yes. Okay.
Anyway,
that is the update. Okay.
And today we're going to be making
drum roll, please.
vanilla bean petite scones, the copycat version from Starbucks. You may have like seen them.
Yes,
Starbucks.
we'll put a picture somewhere here. Yes. And yeah, so that's what we're gonna be making. These are better for lots of reasons. First, cheaper, which is a big one. Second, they're like something to do in quarantine when you're just like, I don't want to watch shows for like the 10th time. So like, or like watch TV or whatever. So you're like, okay, we can bake, and you get something yummy out of it, and it honestly tastes better than the Starbucks version, which is kind of great. So yes, that
No shade to Starbucks, by the way. We love.
Yeah,
Starbucks.
we love you. Okay, but let's get baking. Cut to baking. Okay, now
we're filming.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. Hello. Okay,
So
now cut to baking. Yes, we've got our aprons on.
Make sure to tie your hair as well.
Yeah, tie your hair.
So,
Hello.
hi.
Yes. Okay.
So
we're back.
what we'll need.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry.
Okay.
So we're gonna start. Before you start, remember to wash your hands.
Wash your hands.
Tie
your hair.
Put your apron on, and yes. Okay.
Okay. The
We
things you
wanna
will need.
Start by. Sorry. 1 second.
So the things.
Okay.
Wait, so the things you'll need.
Wait.
Okay, so first
Okay, so we have to start. Preheat your oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, not Celsius. Don't want to burn your house down. And line a baking sheet with either parchment paper or a silicone mat. Now let's get into the things you need.
you need will be 2.5 cups of flour, 1/2 cup of granulated sugar, and 1 tablespoon of baking powder.
And a 1/4 tablespoon of salt, which is also in here. Yes. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is we want to sift all of our ingredients to get all the clumps out into a bowl.
This is a great bowl because it can be used for batter, but it's also great for
anything big, honestly. Yes. So, yeah. The thing with scones is that
scones.
yes, it's
Life.
Yes, exactly. So the thing about when you're sifting is that you don't necessarily need to sift, since scones, unlike macarons or like cupcakes and stuff,
Less finicky and fragile.
And they also don't need to have like a smooth top. But I find
they're
that
actually
sometimes
known for not having a smooth top.
Exactly, and the glaze will cover anything up anyway. But the thing is that you really want your scones, you don't want like a huge chunk of flour in the middle of your scone, like.
And it can also help with that nice like soft texture, so it won't be like all lumpy and hard and.
Exactly.
Just
So yeah, I mean, you don't have to do this. A note about measuring flour with cups is that I would recommend measuring with what do you call it? A scale, yeah. Like that's a better option, but like when you're measuring flour in cups, since flour can be packed and the density really matters, like you don't, yeah. So when you're measuring flour in cups,
you really need to know the total and exact measurement.
And you want to scoop it into the cup, like instead of just taking the flour and pushing it like through the bowl. You need to
be like you can't be like approximate, like it has to be close to
exactly. You want to definitely scrape it off at the top for sure, and spoon flour into the cup from it instead of scooping the cup through it. I don't know if you guys know what I mean.
It can be a painful process,
but trust me, it's worth it.
It's definitely worth it.
Any notes for you?
Pretty much covered it all.
Yes. Okay. And also, you might notice that I'm not exactly sifting correctly. I don't know. I don't sift, like, shake it because I find that to be so messy. Instead, I just, like,
and half the flour
scoop
just
like this.
pours out.
Yeah,
of the...
we did miss a little bit of flour, but honestly, I know we just had a whole rant about being precise, but it's fine. And then we want to take a half cup of sugar.
Why not sift the sugar
as well? Yeah. Hello, Kiwi. Oh, if any of you OG Razzers remember Bubbles, there's an actual dog now. We don't have Bubbles anymore, who's a playful pet with just
I would go and pick him up and show you guys, but I washed my hands.
And yeah, he's also sleeping. I yes. Okay, now we have these all set, and
in a separate bowl, let's get on to the
what ingredients?
So we've been mixing this. Also, one thing we forgot to mention, that this is totally optional, but for the glaze, we will be using a stand mixer. So if you have one of those, that'll just make it easier. But
it's totally really not necessary because, like, you don't need to use it. It just makes everything faster. But the results will be absolutely the same with the whisk. So we just like to be extra.
Quicker thorough process.
Yes, but do not worry if you do not have a stand mixer. Hand mixers or even whisks work just fine. Okay.
What? You know a bit of sugar?
Yes. Yeah, I might have salmonella in it. Okay, we have to cut that part out. Don't want to show. I don't want to encourage salmonella poisoning. Okay. Transition.
What is with you?
I don't know. We can't.
Now we have done the
flour.
We're going to be adding. Now we're going to be adding the butter, and this is.
So this is
butter.
1/2 cup of cold unsalted butter.
Make sure it's unsalted and make sure it's cold because you do not want it to be too salty, especially because we already have salt in the mixture. We're just mixing it.
We are taking turns mixing with a hand mixer. Feel free to use a spatula as well.
Or a whisk. A whisk, actually, I don't recommend a whisk.
A whisk might take quite a bit of time. So you want to mix until
everything is fully combined.
It should look a bit like cornmeal. If you don't know what cornmeal looks like,
we'll pop up a picture.
Yes. And your turn. Okay. And in between intervals, you also want to take out the hand mixer. It really helps if you have a sister/sibling/friend or something. But yes, you want to mix these together.
And just mash, because you don't want to over mix it. Because
yeah, for sure no. But you want to just make sure everything is combined and then continue in with the hand mixer.
Do it at a low speed once you've kind of mixed everything, because you don't want it to get kind of crazy.
So now once the butter is decently incorporated, there should be some still big chunks. You want to just go in and start mashing it, and when you know your dough's ready, I don't know if you guys know what kinetic sand is, but once your
I know you're just like, oh, this is so unsanitary, but it's actually not, since we washed our hands.
So we're good.
And this is exactly what most bakers do in real life.
Also, bread and kneading dough, you're gonna have to knead the dough anyway, so wash your hands, guys. But yes.
Definitely wash your hands.
So you want the dough, when you squish it, you want it to stick it together. That's how you know the butter has been well enough incorporated. And it should still gently fall apart when shaken. If you press it, it should fall apart like that. But if you've ever played with kinetic sand, that's how the consistency should feel.
If you guys have ever played with
kinetic sand, it's the sand that's sticky. I know. That's the only way I
like
can
a dough consistency of sand. Exactly like this, basically.
Okay.
Except
Anyway,
not green.
let's go to the wet ingredients. Poof.
So now you will be adding your
Yes, we're
wet
gonna be adding-
ingredient, your heavy cream first.
Yes. So we're gonna start with 1/2 cup of heavy cream. Then in a separate bowl, 2.5 teaspoons of vanilla extract, or you can also use 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract and a vanilla bean. And then we're just gonna crack 1 egg. Oh, this reminds me of this one thing. Oh, okay. When I was younger, I loved to bake a lot. I still do. Okay, you wanna start whisking this together. When I was younger, I used to bake a lot, and I still do, but like, I wasn't very good at baking, I would say. So what I would do is like, I would, I didn't realize you're not supposed to put the, not put the eggshells in. So then I was like, so I put the entire egg in like the box mix, of course, because I wasn't that experienced. But yeah, I put the full eggs in without taking out the eggshells, and I just had them mashed up. And then when I served my parents the cupcakes, or our parents, they were like, oh my god, this is like crunchy, because obviously box mix takes like 3 or 4 eggs. This is a really boring story. But anyway, they were like, yes, wow, this is disgusting, but they didn't say it to me. And moral of the story, I learned that crunchy eggshell surprise is not a very good flavor of box cake. So, moral, and where I'm going with is the story is, don't put your full eggshells in your mix, kids. I don't know who would do that except for me. Hello, Kiwi. But, I don't know. All right, now we have our wet ingredients fully combined. We want to bring back our dry ingredients.
Bring back
Our flour and flour mixture plus our butter. I don't know, it was like an indicator for our editing selves. Okay, then you want to just pour this in
slowly
in parts, and then use a spatula to fold it, almost, yes, until it forms a kind of dough.
Honestly, a lot of people think baking is like, oh, it's not gonna work if we don't follow the exact recipe.
But trust me.
Honestly, like, not following the recipe, often tastes a lot better.
Or a lot worse.
Follow a recipe, guys.
I'm
Don't
not
click
saying-
out of this video, but
don't make eggshell surprise, we'll put it that way. But
Yeah.
like, what, do you remember the honey brownies? Okay, we were baking. We didn't have
because we
we're
from
bakers.
a young
age.
age.
So this was like a few months ago, maybe. And then they was like, so we wanted to make brownies, but we didn't have, I think we didn't have enough sugar or butter or like baking powder or baking soda. We didn't have
most of the ingredients.
or vanilla.
Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, we really didn't have a lot of things. So we used we just freehanded a lot of
A lot of substitutes,
and it was
but like
amazing. And some not even substitutes. We just like, it was better than expected.
And like obviously we didn't go completely off course because that
Yeah.
would have made it something totally different.
But yes, we did definitely not follow the recipe to a T. So if you don't have some of these ingredients, like for example, if you don't have
Just
heavy
look up a
cream,
substitute,
Yeah.
or sometimes just go with your gut.
Yeah, and honestly, we didn't use baking powder or baking soda that day, and the brownie turned out one of the best brownies I've ever had.
Honestly, yeah, like it was like
Yes, thank you.
honestly, like it's just so much like
Honestly.
more.
I'm sorry, you were saying honestly a lot. I'm sorry.
She's such a bully, guys.
I am such a bully. Ouch. I'm a bully. Can you pour the last bit in?
Basically, again, do it in thirds.
Fourths. And yeah, but even our fourths or thirds or whatever number it was, we're not exact.
What we both love about scones is that, like, unlike macarons or unlike eclairs or donuts, like it's not a very finicky recipe.
If you mess up a little, it's still gonna be good, basically.
Yeah, honestly, scones are super loose and relaxed, and they're not super augmented into a certain dynamic and way.
And oh my god, it smells like heaven. Get it? God, heaven. I am funny. Okay,
Anyway,
now we're gonna start
What in the-
kneading the dough for real.
knead it. Bye.
What? Okay.
Okay, so we're back, and
Yes.
we have the dough all ready and
For kneading. So
kneading.
right now it should look not exactly like it shouldn't be. It should definitely stick together a little, but there should still be floury bits. And just we're using a cutting board. You don't have to, but it just helps.
Just like
it's
a
not as
board
messy or some kind of like something.
We're just using a surface to make it easy.
Yes. So this is the dough.
And you're gonna notice that there's
It's definitely
gonna be
crumbly.
flourish.
Can you like do an overhead shot?
Sure.
So as you like pour it, it's gonna be like very floury
Crumbly.
and crumbly and everything, but that's, you know.
There should be like one main piece that sticks together like this, and then you just want to knead it. Don't over knead it, don't under knead it, just knead it. That's not a very good, that didn't really make sense. Don't over knead it, don't under knead it. You don't provide, I hate it when people like are like, sorry, but I hate it when people like don't do this, don't do that, and don't provide any reference, so.
And also
It should
sometimes
be
when
like
it's like when it's
layered.
just like, you know, like when people are just like, okay, yeah, and when people are just like, okay, you know, you might need to mix it, but don't over mix it, don't under mix it.
What is overmix? What is undermix?
We need some guidelines, so we're gonna try to help you with that.
Yes, contrary to what I just said, but yes,
That's why we're doing a couple overhead shots, and that's why we're going
because we're pros.
because we're pros.
Yes. This is looking pretty good. Knead it a bit more, but don't, yeah, like I said. Once the floury bits are pretty much almost gone, you should, by the way, see it. How you know it's correct is if you take just like a little piece, you should see layers within this. I don't know if you can see, but like,
If you don't,
yeah, sorry, but like,
then keep mixing, or
yes, you should definitely see that there's multiple layers within the scone, not defined, like not like straight up and down layers. There's multiple overlapping layers.
And if you guys have ever made donut dough, if you guys fry it, I bake it, healthier version.
Okay.
But if you fry it and you've made the dough before, this is like sort of a similar appearance
Yeah.
wise.
It's appearance wise on the outside, but when you take it on the inside,
It's definitely gonna have a different taste.
Okay, this looks good.
This looks great, honestly.
So now what we want to do is we just want to take it. Looks fabulous.
And
So then
we're
we just
gonna
wanna
see you
remove
guys for the next step.
it. Bye. Are now rolling out the dough.
So
You want to roll it out to about 1/2 inch thick, I'd say.
Yeah. And don't get like super specific. I literally grab this occasionally and just 1/2 inch, just about measure it to there. And it's about to actually to this in this area. And you just even it out on the other sides.
Dough. So you want to, yes, you want to just keep rolling it. And I'm so sorry, baby. I'm sorry.
Roll it to that nice, perfect little 1/2 inch thick place.
Exactly. Not descriptive, but you know what I mean.
Sometimes you run out of words when you're in the
By the way,
environment of baking.
one other note. For this recipe, one thing, I know we said like ultra, you can not as finicky, but please, 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 unless you really think it's way too wet, do not add flour. Do not add extra flour.
We know from experience, we know from trial and error that that never helps.
Yes, we've
and
tried improvising the scone recipe before. Please, 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 never, ever, ever add more flour.
it's a certain amount of flour for a reason. it means that you messed up one of the other ingredients and the flour is perfectly fine.
Yes, but remember not
But
to.
only if the flour is the problem. I know sometimes it's a little bit hard, but always
tell.
double check the measurements that you put in first and like write them down, make sure that you have the amount that you need and want.
Go back with our measuring tape.
Again, you don't even need to use a measuring tape, but it really helps because it's a perfect.
It's actually perfect.
So now that you have done everything
And rolled it all out, we just want to slice it.
Yes, you can slice it. What I also like to do is obviously they're like kind of uneven. They're not really that like, you kind of want all the edges to be nice and nice.
So yeah, so you want to try doing that, but the only problem with it is that it kind of takes away from how, so yes, smush it a bit, see like how you're doing it, exactly, this is how you should do it. You want to smush it up a bit, but then remember to flatten it back out to make sure that you
have that nice circular shape, you know?
So next thing you want to do is you just want to cut
You want to be extremely careful. What I actually like to do a lot is I like to cut it up and I bunch different sections into circles and then flatten it out and then cut it in like.
Yes, so this is how much. So you want to cut it into halves and then you want to fourth it.
Then you want to bunch it all up into a circle, flatten it like I said before.
So now you want to take these, I'll do this one and you can do that one, and then we just want to scrunch them up into little balls. So this, and now you just want to like flatten it. It really, you can make it however you want. Mine, I don't love them to be perfect. I think not having them perfect gives them a bit of character. But I try to make mine a bit square shaped just so I can cut them into triangles later.
Scones are going in the oven. Yeah, they're officially preheated and ready to go.
KitchenAid, but totally optional. You can use any kitchen appliance you can think of, like
A whisk, a spoon,
any
or anything you can buy made. So we want to do 1, 2, 3. Just estimate, and it's, yeah, I think that's good. And then we just want to add our vanilla as well. So we are doing about 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla. So now we have our KitchenAid with the whisk attachment on it.
And then you want to do it to about like the 2 or 3 mark.
Yes, not very much. And you just want to wait because it's going to take a little bit of time.
So right now we were piping a simple drip pattern with a flat tip on each scone. You're just going to be making little bumps on the end of each scone. And yes, this is one method of applying the glaze, and we'll show you the next. Next method you can use to apply the glaze is spooning some glaze onto each scone, gently spreading the glaze across the surface of each scone for a nice natural drip.
So that was our finished scones. We hope you like them.